Nipsey Hussle, King Von, and XXXTentacion. The death of these rappers showed that, unfortunately, sometimes the price that some of our favorite rappers have to pay for their fame and fortune is their life. Keep watching to find out about the man that killed these rappers and the incidents that led to their death. Nipsey Hussle, early life. Nipsey Hussle was not only a rapper, but also an entrepreneur, community activist, and philanthropist. Nipsey grew up in Crenshaw, California. He was born into a life of gang violence and crime, and he joined the Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips at the age of 14. The Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips is a subgroup of the larger Crips gang and was founded in the year of 1976. The gang was known for criminal activities such as racketeering, auto theft, armed robbery, extortion, fraud, etc. This was why Nipsey's music involved gang-related stories and narrated his experience as a gang member. But Nipsey also used his music to denounce gun violence and to provide solutions to other young black men. Nipsey was one of the few artists that owned rights to their music, and he started his music journey by releasing the mixtape Slauson Boy in December 2005. This mixtape led to him being signed by Epic Records, and then he released his first two installments of the mixtape series, Bullets Ain't Got No Name, in 2008. Career. Nipsey was successful as an artist, and he used his profit as a rapper to elevate the community he grew up in. While most people only saw guns, violence, gangs, and despair, Nipsey saw the hidden potential of his neighborhood, and he took various actions to help Crenshaw achieve its potential. Nipsey gave back to his community by funding improvements in various schools of his neighborhood, building stores, and he also invested in other businesses in the South LA neighborhood that he was raised in. In a bid to change the narrative of his neighborhood, Nipsey started the Marathon Bookstore to encourage a reading culture in his neighborhood. So why then would anyone want to kill someone that had contributed so much to the development of his community? Nipsey's death and killer. Nipsey Hussle was shot in front of his clothing store on March 31st, 2019. This store was a center of Hussle's plan to remake and revive the area where he grew up in. He was allegedly shot by his old friend and gang member Eric Holder. Holder had arrived in a car driven by an unknown woman while Hussle was signing autographs, taking pictures with fans, and talking to friends. According to the grand jury testimony of Hussle's friend, Herman Douglas, Nipsey told Holder to be careful because he was gaining reputation as a snitch. Holder asked if anyone heard his new songs, and they said they have not. It was after this that Holder and the woman who drove him went back to their car and made to leave. However, according to the woman's testimony, Holder got to the car, put out a gun, loaded it, and then walked up to Hussle. He allegedly shot Hussle at least 10 times, shot other two men standing next to Nipsey, and then kicked him twice in the head before running away from the scene. The incident was a shock to everyone because Holder and Nipsey Hussle grew up in the same neighborhood as friends and also as aspiring rappers. As a rapper, Holder went by the name Fly Mac. In his local neighborhood, Holder is known by his nickname Shitty Cuz. Holder had released 9 songs through his music SoundCloud account and under the name Fly Mac, but unlike Hussle, his music never caught on and he had only 189 followers on his SoundCloud account, and he never released a full album or a mixtape. Holder rapped about body bags, bloody homicides, and gun blasts. Before the alleged incident, Holder had also been convicted for carrying a loaded firearm. Hussle's death brought peace to the neighborhood as it impacted various rival gangs to have a truce. King Von. Early life. King Von is a rapper and songwriter that was born on Chicago's South Side and raised in the crime-ridden Old Block neighborhood. Von grew up as childhood friends with rapper Lil Durk and fellow Parkway Gardens resident Chief Keef. He was raised by his mom, as his father was always in and out of his life due to his incarcerations. His father was killed when he was just 11 years old. Von was sucked to a life of gang violence, and he was a member of the gang known as the Black Disciples. The Black Disciples are a street gang based in Chicago and were formed by David Barksdale in the year of 1966. The gang was created to oversee various areas within the neighborhoods. The gang was also involved in various criminal activities such as drug trafficking, illegal gambling, murder, money laundering, racketeering, robbery, arms trafficking, burglary, and theft. Von got his nickname Grandson from Barksdale. When Von was in jail, people who knew Barksdale stated that he reminded them of the Black Disciples founder. The way that Von handled himself in the streets as well as his general comportment reminded these people of the gang leader, and hence he got the nickname Grandson. At the age of 16, Von was sentenced to jail for his first time. This was the beginning of a long series of run-ins with the law. On November 21st, 2012, King Von was arrested by the police for unlawful possessions of a firearm, and they booked him into Cook County Jail. On July 24th, 2014, King Von was arrested in his connection with the shooting that happened in Atlanta in the month of May 2014. The shooting took place in Inglewood, Chicago, and Von was charged with 1 count of murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. However, all the charges were dropped because no witnesses came forward to testify. Career. King Von became an active rapper in 2018. After all charges were dropped and Von was proven innocent, his lifelong friend and rapper Lil Durk pressured and convinced him to become a rapper. Durk had heard some of Von's early tracks and took interest in his music. The duo collaborated on some songs such as Evil Twin, Still Trappin', among others. Von was eventually signed by Lil Durk to his Only the Family Entertainment label. King Von moved from Chicago to Atlanta to further his growing rapping career. One of Von's early singles, which was titled Problem, picked up some steam, but it was the single Crazy Story that really kickstarted Von's career. The single showed Von's strength as a storyteller. Von employed a captivating narrative technique to tell a story about his time as a gang member. It was the story of a robbery that turned into a shootout. The video of the song garnered over 20 million views and put the young rapper's name on the map as one of the new names to look out for on the drill and trap music scene. After the success of Crazy Story, Von released another single titled Cousins before releasing his debut mixtape titled Grandson in September 2019. On the 13-track mixtape featured only 2 artists, Lil Durk and Buka 600. The mixtape debuted at number 75 on the Billboard 200. King Von released his second body of work in March 2020, a 16-track mixtape titled LeVon James. The style of the mixtape mirrored the same opulent bragging style he used in Grandson and featured more rappers such as YNW Melly and NLE Choppa. The mixtape has songs produced by producers such as Mike Will Made It and peaked at number 40 on the Billboard 200 charts. King Von released his debut studio album titled Welcome to the O Block on October 30th, 2020. The album had singles such as Why He Told, All These Niggas, and is Von's highest charting album. The album peaked number 5 on the Billboard 200. However, unfortunately, King Von did not live long enough to enjoy the success of this album. King Von's Death and Killer. A week after his album was released and after his album released Party, King Von was killed in an altercation with Savannah rapper Quando Rondo. The brawl escalated into a gunfight between the 2 rappers and their crews. The incident happened around 3:20 a.m. and resulted in the death of 3 people, while 4 people were wounded. One of the injured persons was Timothy Leaks, who was identified as the suspect responsible for killing King Von. Just like Rondo, Leaks is from Savannah, and he's also known as Lil Tim. He is a 5'11" varsity football player. He graduated from the Jenkins High School, and he also played football for his high school's team. Before the shooting incident, Leaks already had a criminal record. He had previously been arrested for theft by receiving stolen property, and obstruction after an investigation led to the seizure of guns, more than 15 pounds of marijuana, and nearly $16,000. He was one of the 5 arrested in the investigation. After the shooting incident, Leaks was detained at the Fulton County Jail, but has been since released on March 27, 2021 after posting the $100,000 bond required for his bail. XXXTentacion. Career. XXXTentacion was a widely controversial figure due to his widely publicized legal battles. He's a significant figure and one of the pioneers of the emo rap and SoundCloud rap genres. XXX started his music career on SoundCloud in 2013 after being released from juvenile detention. Through his SoundCloud account, the young rapper garnered a cult following among his young fan base with his alienation and depression theme music. XXX is surely one of the most versatile rappers you can ever think of as he explored lo-fi, trap, emo, indie rock, hip-hop, R&B, and punk rock in his music. In 2014, he formed the underground collective Members Only. He employed styles and techniques that were unconventional in rap music, such as distortion with heavy guitar-backed instrumentals. The biggest influence and inspiration for his music was Kurt Cobain, and some other artists that influenced XXX music are Eminem, The Weeknd, Coldplay, and Tupac Shakur. When asked about the artists that influenced his music, XXXTentacion said, "I'm really into multi-genre things that aren't just based around rapping itself. I'm more inspired by an artist in other genres besides rap." Although his music was very unorthodox, XXX was very successful. He won the award for Best New Artist at the American Music Award and the BET Hip Hop Awards. His debut album 17 was certified double platinum in the US, and his second album debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 charts. Sad, which was the lead single for his second album, reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Unfortunately, XXX died when he was just 20 years old. Death and Killer. At 3:56 p.m. on June 18, 2018, XXX was shot at a motorcycle dealership in Deerfield Beach, Florida. He was blocked from exiting the parking lot of the store and two armed men exited a black SUV, then approached a young rapper who was in the driving seat of his car. The armed man reached into XXX's car after a brief struggle and stole a small Louis Vuitton bag that contained $50,000. 2 days after the incident, Dedrick Williams, who was one of the four men that robbed, was arrested. Other accomplices in the murder included Robert Allen, Trayvon Newsom were arrested a few weeks after the incident, while Michael Boatwright, who was the trigger man, was already arrested and put in jail for drug charges 5 days before he was charged for the murder on July 10th.